Yes. I have a hard time with bright lights in my face.
Yeah, well, I would not like that.
Thank you. All right. We'll wait just a couple more minutes here. All right. Okay. Are you hearing voices? What are they saying to you? What are the voices telling you to do?
Upstairs, that's why.
They say aloud. Everyone can come up when they want.
Oh.
And we just start. So how long have you guys been here? We arrived on Tuesday, March 25th. So did you get in on that snowstorm? We missed the snowstorm. We were in the house and I wasn't the only one trying to find a shovel in Menards that, the one shovel that was, all the way, because there wasn't any shovels left, but we did miss it for the actual move part, this part, so yeah. So I was like, yeah, that's right, it snows in April.
I don't know about you guys.
We're in for nice weather to start.
Yeah.
I mean, today's beautiful. Oh, it's super nice. Gorgeous day.
Do you guys have that thing on your phone where it pops up pictures from your past?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't think we have a choice.
I think they just do that to you.
They show me.
Yeah. So it's like every year, April, snow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I took pictures of the snow. I remember this now.
It's snowing May too.
Oh yeah. Well, what year was that? The 23, 24 when we had so much snow?
I remember I graduated in 61 and I went to St. Ben's and I remember in May, there was no school because it was snowing. The first time school had ever had school is because they had a dorm that was not right in the building. It was a separate.
You're a Benny.
Yeah.
My brother went to St. John's and his wife was a Benny. Yeah. Okay, I suppose. Suppose we should get started. All right, well, welcome, everybody. Will you do the statement of intent in a minute? Yeah, okay. So first, I think we should greet each other first. Let's say, everyone greet each other. Hi, hello, a handshake, a hug, how are ya? Welcome. Well, and on my phone, it said it was supposed to rain all day today. Hello. Yes. I don't think Whoops. Ooh, I don't want to. start with, hold on. 1 minute. We're going to change things up.
Okay.
Okay.
Statement of intent. We are fortunate to have a variety of speakers for Sunday services. By using guest speakers, we gain wisdom from all those who share. This is a church where you can worship the God of your own understanding, a place to experience joy and be uplifted, a place where we can gain strength and inspiration to share with all we meet throughout the week. We invite you to join us in this celebration of life, to nourish your spirit and to enjoy the company of kindred souls.
All right, thank you. All right, so let us sing our opening prayer, which is "Let There Be Peace." You'll find that on the white card, or it's in the hymnal number 3 of Wings of Song. Too low, too high? Oh, okay. I should just stand up straighter. Oh. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Don't sit down quite yet. I'm going to give you a quick invocation here, and then we'll sing another song. Source Creator, raise us up each and every day to feel divine love, to open to divine love, and to express divine love through us in all we do. And let's do that through singing. And our first song is number 153, Count Your Blessings, 153 in Wings of Song. See what God has done. Woohoo! All right, thank you. Lovely. It was nice and loud. Love it. Sing from the belly, right? Right, Michael? Sing. There we go. All right. So at this point, just a few quick announcements. Today's speaker is Cassandra Bachtell. Is that right? Bachtell. All right. I spelled it wrong. And her topic today is Telepathic Communication Experiment Update or Report and more. So that's kind of exciting. We want to know what the more is now. All right. This afternoon, There is a movie, we're showing a movie this afternoon for the Bruno Groening Circle of Friends Healing Group. I have to put Circle of Healing, Circle of Friends. And the movie is at 2 o'clock, and it is The Phenomenon of Healing. So that would, if you want to stick around after lunch or go out to brunch and come back, it'll be a great experience to be here for that. Tomorrow night, Monday night, every Monday night, is the Unity Book Group. They are at 6:30 p.m. downstairs, and they are reading Living with Joy. This is the book they're reading, Living with Joy, Keys to Personal Power and Spiritual Transformation. This is Carol's book, so if you want to look at it, ask Carol about it later. Now, what's that? Yeah. Yeah. And then on Wednesday night, we have another book group. Sue Hall has a group meets up here in the meditation room. And they are also at 6:30. That is with Abraham Hicks and the Law of Attraction type of items. The book they are reading right now is The Vortex. So that's another option for you. Now downstairs, you might have noticed we still have the table up for donations for CHUM. They were working on their donations through March, but they did extend it through April. I don't know when they're going to quit that, but I figure we'll just give them a whole bunch of stuff at the end of the month. So the table is still up. If you want to give a cash donation, there's a basket. If you want to give a food donation, you just put it on the table. Now today is, speaking of donations, today is Second Sunday. So when you go to lunch today, if you want to put some extra dollars in the basket for the potluck, that money will be going to Second Harvest Food Shelf. So every second Sunday, we will be donating whatever we take in to Second Harvest. Now, next week's speaker is Matthew Johnson. Denise and I went to a sound bath healing at the folk school. I felt like, she's like, you gotta come. And I'm like, I don't want to leave the house. And I am so glad I went because I felt so much better after 90 minutes on the floor listening to this man play instruments in ways that I'd never heard before. So I'm very excited to have him here. He's checked out our space and he knows exactly where he wants to put everything. He's going to do that as part of his presentation next week. So don't miss out. Now, also, he's a sound healer and yoga instructor, so that is going to be very exciting. Now, again, next week, of course, today being Palm Sunday in other traditions, next week is Easter Sunday. So last year we just had an enhanced potluck, so that's what we want to do again this year. Make sure you bring stuff that would make our potluck just outrageously wonderful. There is a sign-up sheet downstairs if you want to put some stuff on there or to see what other people are planning to bring so you can make plans for yourself. So sign up on the sheet downstairs to find out, so we can make it a big buffet and a celebration of our Easter Sunday. And I think, does anybody else have any other announcements? Yes, Denise.
Maybe he'll announce this, but I believe he's doing another one at the folk school. It's a free event, costs nothing.
Yeah.
90 minutes, and it's absolutely.
It's amazing.
Where's the folk school? Superior Street.
It's by OMC.
Okay.
Dove Cafe, yeah. So Denise just said Matthew Johnson is performing another sound bath healing session.
I think it's still in April, but I'm not sure the date.
Okay. Yeah, and not only that, we can always check out the folk school website and find out what their classes are. So if you liked what he's going to do this week, you're going to love what he's going to do for 90 minutes.
Folk schools between 19th and 20th Avenue West on Superior Street.
Yeah, it's right next to OMC. Or,
I'm just going to announce, since I've just relocated back.
hold on.
I'm not.
We're going to make you put it on.
I don't need him. I have a loud voice. I just wanted to say, that we're back here and just moved back to Duluth, and you were talking about CHUM. And I wanted to just share that I am the new director of operations at CHUM. So, yeah. So I'm pretty excited. I start on Monday the 21st. So I can give an update at some point. So.
So they're still working on the food for the month of April.
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll be directing when I get there, but I don't know what I don't know right now, but just wanted to share that, so super excited.
Oh, that's so awesome. So we have a representative in our midst. That's awesome. Any other announcements? Okay, so then let's move on. We will read our principles on the white card. Our Declaration of Principles. We believe God is the eternal source and creator of all and is present in everything. Our eternal soul, endowed with free will, grows through many lifetimes. Communication occurs between the physical and spiritual worlds. Prayer and meditation strengthen our connection to the divine. All healing comes from Source. Seeking this for ourselves and compassion for others suffering is the highest priority. Because we are all one, what we do unto others, we do unto ourselves. The choice of love is always open for every soul. Living these principles leads us to grow in divine love. And speaking of healing, let's say our healing prayer, our prayer for spiritual healing. It's on the other side of the card at the bottom. I ask the unseen healing force to remove all obstacles from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask the great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. We put our trust in the love and power of God. So at this moment, we're going to be talking about healing. Our healing bowl is active 24/7, and it is there to have you put names in either physically on a piece of paper or intentionally, and those people will be prayed over. So at this time, do we have anyone with healing or healing requests? No? Oh.
Oh, one of the reasons I'm late is a good friend of mine from UMD days just had surgery this morning. She's had back pain for a couple of months, and it got really worse when her son was up here yesterday. They took her to the hospital, and she had an x-ray, and she has an infection in the bones of her spine. And so they did emergency surgery last night or whenever they got her in, and so she's recovering. So I was just sending word to our mutual friends about this, so she could, Jeanette McDonald.
Thank you. Just a quick update. A couple of weeks ago, I asked you to pray for my sister and her husband, Molly and Rich. They both had elevated levels for cancer research type things or following their cancer issues. My sister had a CAT scan, head, body, the whole 9 yards. They looked her through over and over, and they found that there's nothing regrowing, so that's a good thing. So now the other half is her husband, Rich, is on his radiation treatment, and hopefully we will get more of an update on that. So after their extended trip to Costa Rica, they are both feeling much better, especially after their doctor's visits this week. So thank you all for the prayers for them. Any other prayers? Anyone else have I think now that I see Kathleen coming in, let's pray for Jimmy. How's Jimmy doing? Yeah, Jimmy needs all our help we can get, we can give him. So, his back end has a little stability issues. So pray for Jimmy the puppy. Yeah, well, not a puppy anymore, right? All right, well, anyway, so let's sing our healing song, which is our hymn 74, in the silence in Wings of Song. After that, we'll have a moment of silence, and then Debbie Guitar will be our healing meditation person.
So good morning. Spirit comes today, and Spirit is strong here today. And so Spirit's going to guide the meditation today. And right now, at this moment, the church is filled with angel beings. And there's an angel being here for everyone. In order for you to have healing from them, it's important that you accept healing from them and that you thank them for the healing that they're going to provide for you today. They will never do anything without your permission for that peace. So take this time now to center yourself, to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Breathing in, grounding yourself, accepting the beings that are here and present today. There's so much love right now that they have for you. So each being is bringing to you a source of light that is beyond age. It is filled with so much love. It is filled with your ancestors. It is filled with the light of the earth. It is filled with the church, because the church here is a living being that is grounded. So as you're breathing in, gently rub your hands together to create that healing friction, that healing energy. Place it right on your abdomen and breathe in and feel that heat moving through your body as your blessed angels, your galactic beings are with you, holding a light above your head. Breathing in and breathing out. Their message to you is, as this light, as this healing energy is moving up, it is spreading through every crack, every cell, every being in your body, in your energetic field and beyond. They're here today to fuse together all that has been, all that will be, and into the future. Know that this is a great time of rebirth for you. What they're saying is it's important today for each of you to find time and space to go out into the woods, to finish what they have started this morning by grounding yourself in Mother Earth, by honoring her, and by thanking her for the life that she has given to you. They say, go in peace. God bless.
I like the Wizard of Oz in my own life.
It's up there somewhere.
Well, good morning. What a beautiful morning it is outside today, too. So I love the idea of going outside into nature today. That sounds like a wonderful, wonderful way to spend today. While we're getting set up, I'm going to say, in full disclosure, I really had a hard time writing this talk. Telepathy covers such a wide range of different things and topics that you could talk about, with non-local communication, being able to transmit thoughts to not just other people, but when I think of telepathy, it's really the information being sent, whether from a sender to a receiver, and it could be human to human, but there are studies that even have interspecies telepathy, or maybe loved ones who have passed that we hear from. That could be a form of telepathic communication. So I want you to hold that in your mind as we go through this today. And we'll get through it. Like, there's going to be a lot that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to read from this because honestly, I will go off on some tangent that has nothing to do with this if I don't. So when we come to telepathy, I really approach the topic with a hybrid mindset. I am highly analytical and very logical, and I love the scientific method. But I've also, from the time I was born, have had really profound experiences that defy logic. And so it's kind of from this framework of having that logical mind, but yet having these direct experiences where I'll approach a topic like telepathy. So in today's talk, you're going to hear a lot of science, you're going to hear some philosophy, and you're going to get some stories about my life that relates to this. So I've seen Lucy, the sci-fi film, years and years ago, but I watched it again recently, and I'm like, that is a really underrated film. It is fantastic, and it really kind of touches on this quantum nature of reality. And so I love this. We've codified our existence, bringing it down to the human size. To make it comprehensible, we've created a scale so that we can forget its unfathomable scale. So all of creation is
extremely difficult to comprehend with our biological mind alone. You can go to the next slide. Steve has been very gracious to be my slide person today. Thank you, Steve. This is a really important quote. So the biofield, I want to start here. I want to start giving us kind of a framework about our bodies and the essence that gives life to our bodies. So a general understanding of the energy that surrounds each living organism. Scientifically, biofields are interacting and interpenetrating fields of energy and information that regulate the hemodynamic action of a system. They exist on both the macro level and the micro level. So they can surround a living organism like every single one of us has our own biofield, but it goes all the way down to the cellular level. So these biofields are very much a fabric of our actual existence. The field that surrounds each one of us is comprised of energetic information that communicates with the inner and the outer worlds. Components of our biofield are measured by science. They've been established in EKG readings, EEG readings. Those are measuring aspects of our biofield. And it's theorized that the biofield is actually responsible for limb regeneration in species that have that capability. So there's something there. Amputees, some of you may be familiar with this, amputees will often have something called phantom limb pain. So they're still experiencing the sensation of a limb that no longer is present on their body. The biofield really kind of retains the energetic blueprint of the physical system that the biofield creates. This field of energy is currently measurable up to 8 feet off the body. And while mainstream science considers it a causal condition of a living organism, there's evidence that suggests the biofield is a portion of the essence of what we truly are. That it's the biofield that actually creates physicality, not the other way around. We can see evidence that indicates a biofield is the cause of physical reality because the biofield instructs undifferentiated fetal cells to differentiate into a limb, an eye, a liver. That's coming from a biofield. From this perspective, the biofield exists before any separate biological functional system is even formed. This field is what animates our bodies, lifetime over lifetime. It contains knowledge, history, and memory that transcends beyond our current human experience. From this esoteric lens, the biofield is limitless, just as we are all eternal. Think of your biofield as your energetic personality that transcends your culture, your gender, and your human identity. All right, next slide. So where do our thoughts actually come from? Through our classical materialistic sciences, it's assumed that our thoughts arise out of our conscious mind, out of our ability to interact with and make sense of our external environment. But in reality, the study of consciousness continues to evolve, and there's really no definitive answer as to the source of conscious thought. I have a great respect for science, and because I'm wired to deduce, reassemble, study, and analyze patterns and make sense of the world from that perspective, and I've also been given experiences that defy logical explanation, holding these two states of being simultaneously can be really challenging. It was my first memory as an infant, which created a spark of interest in understanding the nature of thought. As I watched my parents crack open the door to my room and peek in on my crib, a crib that my mother told me years later, we got rid of that before you were a year old. There's no pictures. You couldn't possibly remember it. And I'm like, well, I do. When I watched their faces peeking in at me, I had a thought. And it wasn't something that you would expect from the mind of an infant. It was well-formed and mature. And I've often wondered, where did that come from? It definitely felt like an original thought, not something external to me. Over the years, I've continued to pay attention to my thoughts. And when I talk about thoughts, I'm really talking about anything that I mentally hear, visualize, or feel. And for me, thought is mostly auditory. So this streaming dialogue in my head that sometimes I would like to turn the volume down. Most of my thoughts are everyday run-of-the-mill variety that deal with immediate priorities or just life in general, but once in a while, a voice that's not my own will come into my mind, and I'll share a story about one of those experiences coming up. We take for granted that what we are is defined by the bodies that we possess, by the families that we're born into, the culture that surrounds us, but that's not what we are. That is simply where we find ourselves in this moment. What we are can't be defined through the lens of our gender, our age, our profession, our culture, or the time that we find ourselves living in. Those things are all just part of our story. What we are is unfathomable from the perspective of the human mind, and it can't be known from that place. The system that defines itself cannot adequately study itself. Okay. All that exists is a form of energy comprised of frequency and vibration, whether it's material in nature with some form of physicality or non-material and seemingly empty. Thoughts, while not physical, I think we can all agree thoughts are very real. They drive our actions and our behaviors. By the nature of their existence, they carry a vibrational frequency which is not isolated to our physical body. Telepathy is a transfer of thought from one to another. The repeatable experiments which lend credibility to telepathic communication point to the possibility that we're not separate, at least not in our entirety. We perceive ourselves as separate because we're so focused on the material world, but the line of demarcation between me and you is much more blurred than that. Matter is energy slowed down to a low vibratory state, a state that's perceptible to our physical senses. If we aren't purely physical, if all is energy, if all is vibration, if all is frequency, if all that exists, both seen and unseen, has a shared source, it's really not all that difficult to imagine that our perceived separateness is the illusion, although it is a really persistent illusion. From an understanding that we are not separated as we think, it's not difficult to make the leap that we can share, receive, and send thoughts. Those that would describe themselves as empathic are able to experience a situation that has nothing to do with them personally, yet they could feel it in very real time, in a sense sharing the experience far beyond thought alone. About 15 years ago, an event happened that was so catastrophic, I stopped functioning for weeks. I was ineffective in my job. I was ineffective as a mother. I was caught up in grief. This event was in no way directly connected to me. It happened 1,000 miles away, and I knew no one that was directly involved, yet I found myself experiencing it. I could feel the anguish and the fear of those that were impacted, and it paralyzed me. As much as I tried to redirect my attention, I struggled to remove myself from the experience. It was an outside voice that said 5 words that not only snapped me out of the experience, but have continued to be a foundation of truth for which I constantly remind myself. The voice was one of the victims. One day, sitting in my office with the weight of grief engulfing me, he spoke. "This is not your story." I will never forget those words. The absolute truth in that statement was undeniable. I came into this world, we all come into this world with a story, and we're experiencing it day by day, moment by moment. We have a purpose. We are here for a reason. When we get caught up in circumstances that aren't about us, we're no longer living our own story. There was nothing of value I could offer this other storyline. It didn't involve me. All it was doing was affecting my story because I was allowing it to. I share this as a message for the empaths among us. Recognize what is and is not part of your story. You're not here to live the life of another. You're here to live your life. And there's enough, I'm sure, to keep you busy. Next slide. So looking at the biofield as a source material that animates the body and knowing it's comprised of energy in non-material form, meaning its vibratory state is much higher than physical matter. When we are in close proximity to other biofields, they overlap and they exchange information. All energy is composed of subatomic particles, and the study of these particles is known as quantum mechanics. At the subatomic level, particles don't behave like the matter that they form. When particles are in close proximity and they're in vibrational alignment, they continue to be connected even when separated by time and distance. Einstein coined this spooky action at a distance. When we interact with others for which there's an energetic alignment, the quantum nature of our biofield can become entangled, and the connection we share remains long after our interaction. So theoretically, our attachment to others can be explained through this quantum entanglement. People we meet and feel drawn to are often in vibrational alignment with our own being. It's like our subconsciousness recognizes their frequency as our own frequency, and there's an instant kinship and recognition on that level. So it's highly possible that consciousness itself is a quantum process, that is better studied at the subatomic level. Science has shown that the power of our brain arises from quantum processes, including entanglement. They can see the entanglement of particles within an individual's brain through the use of imaging, and they've shown that even when separated, they remain elements of the same state of consciousness. So they've shown entanglement within a single biological system. While science has not yet applied this principle to 2 or more people, I believe that those who have shared experiences through lifetimes are quantumly entangled, and they will recognize each other when they meet every time. There are no coincidences. This quantum connection is one of the variables that intrigued me about telepathy. Will there be a stronger connection with people that I feel like I have a soul tie to? And what will the connection look like for people that I'm less familiar with? So I want to share something. You didn't realize how much of a science talk you're probably coming into today, but I'm going to share another little piece of science that absolutely intrigued me. I was so excited when I ran across this. So there's some brilliant minds at Fermilab that study particle physics, quantum mechanics, and there's a particle, I guess they name their particles. There is a particle named Zeta 9. And what they discovered with Zeta 9 is that this particle anticipated human behavior and responded to it in advance of a stimulus. That's crazy. Like, I can't even begin to speculate like the where that's going to lead to over time. So the researcher was preparing to press a button, which would cause the particle to change its behavior. The button was the action, the behavior is the effect. The particle changed its behavior when the researcher thought about pressing the button. When this was studied, it was determined that the particle reacted before the EEG that they hooked the researcher up to even registered a thought. So there's something going on there. This experiment has been repeated, same results. What it tells us is that our thoughts are the action. Consciousness is fundamental to the quantum field. This is strong evidence that consciousness and the particle world are directly connected. Our thoughts have way more power than we can begin to imagine. Okay. So this slide really kind of represents some people that have shown an interest or been influenced the study of telepathy. Some of these research articles, there's so many articles out there, and from mainstream academic institutions as well. There's plenty of information. It's been studied for at least 100 years, and there's 2 that I'll mention today. One which has long interested me. Edgar Mitchell was the lunar pilot on Apollo 14. And in 1971, at that time, telepathy was commonly referred to as ESP, so extrasensory perception. 3 weeks before the mission, some researchers connected with Edgar, and this experiment was devised without NASA's awareness. There were 4 sessions, so I have to say that NASA did not sanction a telepathy experiment in 1971. I don't think that was part of their plan. There are 4 sessions where Mitchell would transmit 1 of 5 symbols to 3 participants that were on the ground. Each transmission was just 15 seconds long, and the total session time was under 6 minutes, so it was pretty quick. The researchers on the ground, 2 scientists, 1 psychic, would list their impressions. While the results of the experiment seem varied, depending upon the source that you read, Mitchell felt it was proof of communication that shows a consistent, significant result, whether you're on Earth or in outer space. So distance is not a factor in transmission. It's hard to flip pages with a mic. More published scientific studies on telepathy reflect an accuracy rate above what would be expected by chance. So this is repeated over and over again. They always see an accuracy rate that's more than what they would expect by chance alone. But there's one study in particular that has an accuracy rate of 90+%. The telepathy tapes studied telepathic communication with autistic children. These results are mind-blowing because as part of the study, it was seen that the individual thinking of the word or object did not always have time to even project the thought. There were times before they had the opportunity to process the word they were seeing to even send to the intended recipient. And it was as if the autistic individual would pick up on it as if they're seeing it at the same time as the person that would be projecting it. So think back to our little particle friend, Zeta 9. Like there's just so much more to learn about this type of communication. In the telepathy tapes, one participant described the experience of what it's like to be autistic. And I'm paraphrasing based on my understanding of what I've heard. They don't recognize their body. They exist between spaces. They are of the body, but not in the body. Their knowledge, their awareness, their field of knowingness is not contained within the body. It's expansive. In our culture, anything that doesn't fit into the realm of what's deemed normal is considered undesirable. I have a half-brother, my mother's firstborn, who has severe Down syndrome. The world looks, especially in the past, in the time that I was growing up, and sees his condition as unfortunate. I only met Mark twice. In those brief encounters I had with my brother, it was apparent that he sees the world through the eyes of innocence and wonder. There's so much we can learn from those who are not confined by the bounds of what is deemed normal. Okay. So in March, I conducted my own little ad hoc experiment in telepathic communication. And in full disclosure, I would not consider myself a good meditator. Nor do I have a quiet mind. I am often challenged to remain focused, so I knew this was going to be difficult for me. Twice per week, at the same time throughout the month, I would sit and I would meditate on one of 3 possible shapes and one of 10 possible numbers. Of those 8 sessions, approximately half were fairly easy. I would prep myself by sitting to quiet my mind for 15 minutes before the session time. Once the session started, I would focus on the target shape and number. I would draw this out ahead of time and tape it to the wall in front of me. And mentally, I would walk through the shape, feeling its sides, seeing it move, experiencing its energy. I would visualize the number within and around the shape. I used a few methods to decide what shape and number to transmit. The day prior to the first session, I knew what I was planning to transmit. But when that first day came, a new shape and number was impressed so powerfully that I actually started to question whether I was receiving a projection. So I decided to go with it. And what would have been circle 8 during session 1 became triangle 9. This session would have the most positive number of hits. While the first session had one of the lower participation rates, the rate for accuracy on the shapes was 100%. For the number, it was 40%. Now the number, because you have 10 options, you'd expect a 10% chance. 40%. For both, 40%. It should have been 3% would have been chance, 40% for both. So chance alone, yep, 33% for the shape, 10 for the number, 3 for both. Session 1 floored me, and it hooked others that were involved. There were also sessions where I found it extremely difficult to select a shape and a number. Who knew that would be that challenging? I would use a box to draw possibilities and then second guess myself when a shape and number were drawn that seemed too close to something I previously did. It was more difficult than I expected to be the projector. So I had some expectations going into this. All 3 of my children participated in this study. My youngest is down in Golden Valley at Perpich Arts High School studying music. My middle is in Oklahoma at Oklahoma University, and my oldest child lives in Buffalo, New York. So nobody's in my house, like they're all in their own separate little worlds. But I had some expectations as to how this would go. So I'm really close to my youngest son. And I'm often able to anticipate what he's thinking. The night before he was born, he came to me and he told me his name. This would become his middle name. I wasn't quite invested enough to go all the way with that first name. We're so similar, and at times we've been able to read each other's mind without effort. He thinks it's weird. He's always thought it's a little weird. I just laugh it off and say I gave him a piece of my brain. Like, I don't know. So I went into this expecting that his results would be high. I really didn't have any expectation on my other 2 children, nor did I have any expectation on the other participants, some of which I knew and some of which I didn't. But I was curious. I was really curious as to how it would go. All right, the final slide, the results, the big reveal. Okay. So this chart shows 3 groups of 4. Each grouping represents the accuracy rate of the shape, the number, or the combination of both. The first bar, the dark green bar, represents close friends and family. The second are acquaintances and people I'm unfamiliar with, that orange bar. The third bar is the highest hitter. And the green bar is an aggregate of all the data. So the blue line indicates what's expected by chance alone. So where you see that blue line, that's where we would have expected it by chance. So you can see like the scores are higher than the blue line. The highest hitter was friends and family. So if I remove that data from friends and family, that's where the white line comes in. She skewed the friends and family data so much because she was that yellow bar. I decided to take a look, well, let's take her out of the friends and family and see what happens. And you can see that friends and family scored very similar to acquaintances and unknowns. Then we start to kind of normalize the data from there. So that was my daughter. My daughter and I are close, but we're also very different. She's a social butterfly and extroverted. I'm the introvert, and I'm mostly in my head. Yet as different as we are, her scores were well above expected. Her accuracy on shapes alone was 60%, 40% on the number, and 40% on the combination of both. So the white, I talked about the white line, so I'll skip over that. Not only was her rate high, but she became so invested in this. And I should digress for a second. She is a atmospheric science major. So she's in physics and calc, she's science all the way. This kind of stuff, like she's been a little, I would say she's gifted. She's had some experiences that she thinks are really creepy, and so she doesn't like to talk about them. So I wasn't quite sure how well she'd participate in this, but that first one really kind of got her invested, and she's like, what is this? Like, what's happening? So not only was her rate high, but she became so invested that she reached out to her friends and asked them to start guessing shapes and numbers. They didn't meditate, they weren't part of the study, they had no awareness even that the study was going on, but their accuracy was also high. Like my daughter, they guessed the shape 60% of the time, and their accuracy on the number, the number was 20, the accuracy on the combination was 20. So 20% on the combination is still just out of here, like it's just astronomical. 20% on the number is obviously very significant. So I'm projecting, my daughter is answering, but she doesn't know if she's right. I'm not giving her the response, I'm not letting her know. Then she goes on to ask others. So it's a variable I certainly didn't anticipate, and I'm really not sure what to make of it. Yeah, So that is the results of the study. So I just want to leave you with a couple thoughts. Every thought you have has power. You have the ability to entertain the thoughts or to redirect them. Your reality is a product of your projection and your perception. And your perception is based on what you pay attention to. You have the power to change your world by choosing the thoughts that support the world that you want to live in. Thoughts about yourself or others are not isolated to you. I don't know how I feel about that. They have a frequency and are perceived in capacity by others. This is a tremendous power that can reshape the world one thought at a time. Thank you. Who wants the mic?
Oh, jeez. Awesome. Oh my gosh. That is so creepy. That was Zeta 9. Oh my God. It's like it knew before it knew.
I'm alone in my house and I squealed with delight because that was just so amazing.
Well, we've got people coming up with the baskets for the offering. Here we go. Come on up, Jer. We're going to wait just a minute. Thank you, sir. All right. There you go, Jer.
Okay. And so we've gathered together again. And now we gather as spirits of the universe. The spirits that we are is light, compassion, love, peace, and joy. And we've always been this. And yet we get to understand that we can share that with others. Share that with our family, our friends, and all of us together even here. We become sharing spirits of light, compassion, love, peace, and joy. Joy with life, joy with peace. We are joyful together again. Now, enjoy your life and come with peace. Hello, 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 hello.
Amen.
Amen. Amen.
All right. Thank you, Jerry. All right. So let's sing our second song, which is 211. Oneness.
There's nothing to fear. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I now let go. I now let go. There's nothing to fear. I realize there's only one power. 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 I realize I'm one with the One. I realize I'm one with the One. I realize I'm one with the One. I realize I'm one with the One.
All right. So let us say our church affirmation. It's on the bottom of the card, on the white card. All right. We totally accept the belief that God is in charge of the affairs and direction of Lake Superior Interfaith Community Church. As our thoughts of trust and joyful anticipation join in harmony with the thoughts of all members of this fellowship, we attract the right ministerial people and people to our spiritual community, and we are grateful. Come on up, let's have a circle, and I'll read you a benediction here. Not a tablecloth. All right. Source Creator, help us each and every day to find the best expression of our soul, to be rewarded in our lives with the flow of abundance to keep us safe, protected, supported, and have all of the benefits of financial security to help us to continue expressing the highest version of ourselves without any fear and without worry. Amen.